Good morning, May 23rd, 2022. This is my pre-market analysis, pre-New York session analysis, to be specific, of US30. So following up from last evening's post, you see the market has pushed up back into this area, into this zone here. Just dropped back out into the daily. So, obviously daily hasn't changed much. It pushed up and it's now pushed back down a little bit, but based off of the fact that last week it hit this weekly support here at the 30,960 approximately and kept dropping below it, but pushed down, pushed back up and closed pretty exhausted. I'm thinking there is, a pushback in order. And with that in mind, dropping down to the H4, prices pushed back up into the zone as anticipated, respecting this structure here. This is all occurring around this 38.2 fib level based on this drop that's occurred over the last week, and dropping down onto the H1. Seeing here, it's hitting this level of structure here. So last night I put a couple small orders just because it was out of session. Normally I don't like entering an Asian session at all, or even early London session. But I had a couple orders entered. I think it was about here, and I had a trailing stop, so I secured about 50 points before I got stopped back out. And then I had two sell limit orders, one at 35,550 and one at 31,550 and 31,600. Both of those got activated while I was asleep. I woke up a couple hours ago and saw that they were in profit. And then I had a trailing stop once again. My trailing stop was at 31,450. So I did already get stopped out of that. Actually, it was 31,450. So I did get stopped out of that already here with this. So I'm keeping an eye on it, but I'm still anticipating for price, I believe, to drop down to retest. It's already retesting this level here. I believe it's going to retest this level here, retest this level here, if not, and then ultimately come down and retest these lower levels to continue with the overall momentum, which, as I was saying, I think is definitely still bearish at this point. Weekly is still very early on, obviously, only a few hours in, but we'll see where this goes, going on into this week. So see where this daily candle closes as well. But, again, we can see this candle. I could see this candle closing potentially maybe bullish, and then seeing some sort of reversal later in the week. That is something that's possible. We'll take a look at it. I'm going to lay out this fib on the daily, actually, just to look at it here. Oops. Let me see here. Grab it from there to there. Oh, there you go. Actually, I think that's the same. No, let me see. I think that might be the same level already I marked off on the H1. Yeah, I think it's the same level. 31,627. Let me see. 31,749. No, actually, no. It's actually not the same. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting too. All right, well, there you go. Just laid this out on the daily, and bouncing. It's just this one big drop here, but it looks like it's already retesting a 38.2 on this small fib here, on this one little push on the daily here. So yeah, and then this is the one I drew on the H1. 622. Okay. So anyhow, I'm anticipating price to keep dropping. Now, what I'm thinking, obviously right now it's pre-NY session and starting NY session. I think price in the next hour, 2 hours may push back up to about this level. I think it might just push back up to about here and then keep pushing back down. It might just drop. It might just go up and break this and keep pushing up. Of course, anything's possible. But I think, let me see. Yeah, it's all about a case. There's no bullish case here, in my opinion. Even on a short term, what's your bullish case here? You're going to try to get into a buy here and then ride it up to, try to ride it up to here, maybe 200 points, maybe. Maybe 200 points? No. I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. And then my stop will be here, completely within structure. No. So there's no bullish case here, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's only a bearish case. I mean, obviously the momentum overall is bearish. That's not even a question. But just thinking of potential opportunities here, there's nothing that I could see being bullish anywhere here. So I'm waiting for price to pull back a little bit. I'm gonna get in on a re-entry. See somewhere in this area ideally. Let me drop down to the lower time frames here. On the M15, yeah, because you see it's pushed down, but now you see it's looks like it's kind of like pushing its way back up. This exhausted candle here on the M15 kind of indicates that. I mean, obviously it's also on this lower time frame, broken above the 66 MA, acting kind of as a static support. However, on the M5, it's broken below it. But this here, in my opinion, this is a lower low. This is a lower high forming. I think this indicates that they might have a little bit more room to push up. I think at least I think to retest this here. So maybe here coming up, but if not, to retest this or this, I think. And this, obviously, level here. Oops, if I could draw correctly. This is the same level as this, basically. So all within this same zone, all within this same structure that we already know about. So I am going to be looking for price to push back up at least, as I said here, if not one of these levels, in confluence with obviously other stuff that's happening here with the zone. Also, the MA, is looking like it's something that's being really, really, tested right now and pushed. The 38.2 fib level, which is down here, but this is ultimately the 50. US30 I've been seeing does react quite a bit at times to the 50% level as well. So in my opinion, I mean, this is kind of like a hot zone. And then on top of that, you have actually a zone that I laid out here on the H4 in this area here. So I think that all of that combined really, I think is one last little push up. One last little push up and having an entry somewhere along these lines here. 100-point stop roughly. And I mean, there's a lot of opportunities you can see. I mean, just 1 to 3 right there. I mean, I don't think that's that crazy of a possibility. 1 to 5. I mean, if you retest the previous lows that it made on Friday, 1 to 8 maybe. So I think that's definitely the move, trying to just get in at the optimal point to try to continue that wave down. And overall, definitely we're bearish. I mean, that hasn't changed since yesterday. So with that being said, we'll keep an eye on what's going to happen here. Have some good opportunities potentially coming up today. So keep an eye out, be patient, and let's get this money. Happy trading.